Good afternoon, dear students. Welcome back to our new session for computer programming language. So today we are going to learn about the principles of object-oriented programming concepts. So before that, first we should understand what are the major advantages of object-oriented programming language, because previous classes and we already seen the advantages of procedural oriented programming language. So now we are learning about only the object oriented programming language, so that we need to understand what are the major advantages of object oriented programming language. So we already know the object oriented programming language. The first advantages will be object oriented programming offers the clear flexible framework which programs can make it completely suitable for describing the abstract data. So while using the abstract data, they cannot see the internal details. That means the users who are using the system or who are accessing the program, they are unable to access the private data directly. So some kind of permission they have to provide. So that means the object-oriented programming will be providing complete security for the described data. So that is called as abstract data type. Okay. The second point will be the object-oriented programming will be providing the good structure of code library. So that means so many inbuilt functions we are using to develop the object-oriented programming language. So the object-oriented programming software is having their own such a rich set of library functions or inbuilt functions are there. So that is used to develop the software application. So that some kind of components will be there that we can make use of it. Isn't it? So the third point will be the object-oriented programming is representing a good object concept. That means that based on the object concept only the programming will be working. So that we can use it. Object by object the program will be going to forward. So completely we are focusing one particular object. After completion of the object we are going to started to writing the programming code. So that is another programming language they are not at all providing this concept. Only object oriented programming will be providing this kind of concept. So these are some kind of advantages. That means another will be we can easily modify the program without using any third person or without using any software or supporting option. So what are the codes we are providing? So whenever we need we can make it change, and number of objects we are combining it together, and whenever we need we can create new object and we can add it to the program, and existing object we can make it remove it and we can make reuse it or re-execution. Everything will be possible by the use of object oriented programming language. So because of these some reasons we are using nowadays we are using the object oriented programming concept. Okay, so this is advantages only. So let me come back the review of the previous classes. So we already know the previous class we already discussed about the major concepts of object oriented programming, that is called as classes and object. So I hope you already understood. So once again I will give the simple or brief review about the class, how it will we can see. So here one example for you I written on the board. I will explain. It's a simple concept of how the class will be working. So the class name will be bird. So bird we already know it's a group. So under the bird different kinds of birds we can define it. The properties of birds. That means if you consider one bird, what are the major part of bird that we can consider? So that is called as name of bird, color of bird and size of the bird. These three is known as objects. So the class name will be bird. Under the bird different birds are there. So to representing a bird, common variables or common properties we are using. So that is called as object, isn't it? So this object is known as name, color and size. This part of object is known as a state of object. This state of object is representing the actions. For example, name. Name of the bird means any bird we can consider. Peacock, crow, cuckoo or bulbul. So any kind of birds. So that is represented by name. So name is a common factor. It's represented by number of objects. Okay, so like color of the bird means different colors we can consider, but which bird we are considering, the particular color should be stored to the color Okay, so the next size of the, that is also different bird is having different size will be there. Size will be varying for different birds. That is also common factor for the bird. So this common factor of or common properties of one object is known as a state of object. It will representing some kind of actions. Okay, so the second part of object will be eating. Some example will be the based on the class bird. I have given the second part of object, that is eating, flying, drinking, and whatever the bird will be doing, that actions. Okay, so that action, that is called as methods or functions. So with the help of the state of object, we are providing some kind of action. So that is known as a methods or functions, isn't it? So here representing action, we are using the state of object, isn't it? So this is a small review about the previous class, that means a class concept. So why I am again and again explaining, because the entire object oriented programming language, we need to use classes and object, because without classes and object we cannot write or we cannot do the object oriented programming concept. So whatever the language we are using, so that's why we need to understand clearly what you mean by classes, how the classes will be working, what do you mean by objects. I hope you understood again. So we can go for the next topic of object oriented programming will be principles of object oriented programming language. So principles of object oriented programming language. So before going to start the programming, different characteristics will be there. Each and every programming language is having their own characteristics will be there. So what are the major characteristics what we are seeing in the object oriented programming, we can see. So let me write on the board. The first principles of object oriented programming will be known as abstraction. Okay, so abstraction is one of the major concept of object oriented programming language. So that is abstraction alone we cannot do it, that is by using the classes and object. So apart from that only we are using the abstraction concept. Actually the abstraction concept is closely related to whenever we are declaring the variable in the programming language. So the previous classes we already explained what do you mean by variables and all. So variable is nothing but, again I am explaining, a variable is nothing but variable is used to store some value while doing the program, isn't it? So if you wanted to input something to the computer, you should be provide the place to store the value somewhere else. So that we have to define it before starting the program. So that place is known as a variable, isn't it? So for representing, just like a shelves. So shelf, for what purpose we are using the shelves? In our house, everywhere we are seeing the shelves. Different shelves are there. So when you open the shelves, different the places will be divided for different places. So 2-3 parts will be there. Each part we are storing different kinds of things, isn't it? So after constructing the house, before purchasing the things, we should provide where the things should be stored. So that is known as a shelf. So first we have to make the shelves and provide the place. Then we have to arrange the things inside. So that is the concept of variables. So before inputting the data, so that means inputting data means we are trying to store something to the computer. So before inputting the data, we should provide the place where you wanted to store the data, isn't it? So that place is known as a variable, isn't it? So then what is the relation between variable and abstraction? Abstraction is a concept of object oriented programming. It's a type of principle, isn't it? So how the abstraction will be working? That is, when we are using the variable, we are giving some kind of permission. So we already know what is permission. Permission means it's some allowing something. That is a permission. So in computer programming, what is the role of permission? So when we are after completion of programming or one program or one software we developed, so we are providing to some other people or somewhere else. So whoever want to access the program, that permission we have to provide it, isn't it? So that is known as a security or protection or something. Permission means that only, isn't it? So when one particular class is going on, only the 9th standard should be allowed to inside the class, isn't it? So some other class students, they are unable to come because they don't have the permission to sit in the 9th standard class. That is called as permission. So like that, the abstraction will be working like that only, isn't it? So without showing the internal details, the first person will be allowing to second or third person to access our variable or data, isn't it? Once again, one variable will be declared. So the variable is having some data. Example, a equal to 5. A is a variable. The value of a will be 5. So somebody will be coming from outside and they are trying to access here. So if it is a public format, that everyone can access. Every person can access, or whoever will be using the system, everybody can access the variable. But if the variable will be protected, so to how many people can access that, we have to give the permission, isn't it? So the permitted people, that means authorized people can access the given variable. So that will be provided by the abstraction. So how the variable will be declared, then how much space they are taking to store the data, and where it has to be stored, where the variable will be. So behind that, so many internal details will be there. So that internal details we are not at all showing who are accessing. That means the user, they are unable to know how the variable will be working. So we already know one variable will be there, the value of variable will be 5, that we can access it. They already got the permission, isn't it? With the permission, they are just accessing the variable, but complete details we are not at all providing. This concept is known as an abstraction, isn't it? So another example, in your house or in my house, I kept some money. So my friend has come, he wanted or she wanted some money borrow from me. So whether I will allow to go inside and get the money from my cupboard, or myself will be go and get the money from my cupboard. So that is a question. So usually money is my private property. So no, I won't allow to anyone to access that money. So if anybody will ask me, I'll just go inside, get the money and I'll hand over it, isn't it? So that is the example for abstraction. That means that one third person or second person cannot access directly our data. Complete security we are provided. So if you give the permission, we can give the accessibility. So that is called as abstraction. So another example will be, everyone knows Bluetooth concept. So every student will be accessing the phone, smartphone. So because now you are watching the class through smartphone only or TV only. So Bluetooth concept everyone knows. What is the use of Bluetooth? Bluetooth is used to transfer the file one place to one mobile or one device to another device. Then that is already known for transferring purpose only. We are wireless transferring purpose only. We are using the Bluetooth concept. Then did you think about it, how the Bluetooth will be working, what mechanism will be behind the Bluetooth? We don't know. That we no need to think about it. We only knows it is used to transfer the data one place to another place. That is enough for us, isn't it? But behind that, Bluetooth is a software. Somebody has developed that software and launched it to the public, isn't it? So when we are started to switch on the Bluetooth concept, behind some number of statement or programming code will be working. So whether the user will be clicking switch on or switch off option. After switch on option, what has to do? So that Bluetooth will be giving the instruction to the program controller. So behind that, something will be working. But who are using the Bluetooth, that person doesn't know how the Bluetooth will be working. So that means behind whatever it is, that is doesn't matter. Without showing the internal details, the user will be accessing the external data. So that is another example for the abstraction. This is one of the major principles of object-oriented programming, isn't it? So moreover, we can tell the abstraction is hiding the internal data. Completely they are hiding the data and they are providing the permission. With the permission of the program controller, somebody can access the data. If they are not getting the authorization from the program controller, they are unable to access the data. Isn't it? That means the protected, the variable or data will be protected, but anybody can access but should get the permission. That is known as an abstraction. The first principles of object-oriented programming. The second principles of object-oriented programming will be inheritance. So inheritance is the one of the most powerful feature of object-oriented programming language. So many features will be there, but the entire object-oriented programming, wherever we are using any programming language, inheritance is the one of the major part. Without using the inheritance concept, we cannot complete the object-oriented programming method, isn't it? The speciality of the inheritance will be, inheritance is the major part of the object-oriented programming. Apart from the inheritance, the abstraction, another principles, what are the next principles that will be apart from the inheritance we are using. Means inheritance is must and should. So when we are using the inheritance concept, inside that abstraction will be there, polymorphism will be there, encapsulations will be there. So that is optional only, but we need to use it. So we can go for abstraction. Let me explain how the inheritance will be working. So we can first, I'll explain the example, clearly we can understand. So just related to the real world entity. So that is we can get from the family. So actually the inheritance will be showing the relations. So we are considering parent, grandparent, so the head of the family will be grandparent. Okay. So after that we can consider father, grandfather we can consider. Grandfather. The next will be father. Okay. So okay. So this is the one simple example for the inheritance concept. Then how the inheritance will be working, I will explain. So here one class, the class wise only it will be, that means each part of each section of the inheritance we are considering as a class, isn't it? And how it will be represented we can see. So the first class will be known as grandparent. So grandparent is a class. Then how the relation will be working? So grandparent is having 3 sons. Son 1, 2 and 3, isn't it? The next first category we can see the first son 1 is having 3 kids. Okay, so grandparent, first son is having 3 kids, that is a grandkids. Okay, then how the relation will be moving? So we can consider the kids. So the last generation will be grandson 1. So first you have to consider grandson 1. So grandson 1, it is a person. He is a different person, individual person. So when we considering one individual person, he is having his own characteristics and behavior will be there. That means his mannerism, behavior, character and what are the activity, that is his own will be there, isn't it? The same time he will show his father or mother characteristics. That is sometimes, that means always we won't show. Sometimes we will show our parent, that means mother or father character. Isn't that is as usual only. Okay. So that is the relation between the son and the father. Okay. So here sometimes the grandkid shows his grandparent behavior. That is also possible. So that is actually the inheritance word will be coming from the biology, that means the human biology it will be, because there only we are studying the inheritance concept, that means the generations of human being, there we can see the inheritance concept. So from the biology only we are adopted this inheritance concept, how it will be working. So grandparent, son and grandson, grandparent is grandkids will be showing his own character and his own behavior and his own activities or mannerism whatsoever. The same time he will show his father or mother characteristic. That means again, that means he is having two actions or two kind of accessibility will be there. The same time grandson can show grandparents characters too. That is also possible because that is a gene. That is a real world example only. That is a gene transformation, isn't it? So because of the help of that we can conclude the grandson can access son and a grandfather. The same will be applicable to another section also. So grandfather the second son and grandparent character will be shown to son and son character will be providing to grandkid. Okay, it will come to vice versa also. And at the same time the second son the grandkid can shows the second son characters too, because the gene transformation, that is also possible. That means the last section of classes can access all other main classes, isn't it? So in this inheritance the class will be different stages of classes having their own names will be there. The first grandparent, this class is known as a main class or base class or root class. First family tree is the first what we are given, that is called as main class or base class or root class. The second class is known as a derived class. Derived class or subclass. That is the second step. Third section is known as a further subdivision. Further subdivision of derived class. That means the subdivision classes directly they cannot access the first class, isn't it? So they are provided with the help of the second or derived class. Through this derived class the grandson can access the grandfather. Directly it is not possible, but the characters they can show it, but with the help of some kind of permission we can access. That is called as abstraction. So each class we are providing the abstracted data types and variables. With the help of this abstracted variable we can access all the characteristics of root class or base class or derived class. So this is one of the best example for the inheritance, isn't it? So inheritance will be nothing, it's just showing the relationship between the main classes and subclasses. So why it is called as main classes and subclasses? Because one object oriented programming means more than one classes we are providing. Sometimes one class A is having their own subdivisions, A, B, C we can give. Then main class, another main class will be class B. B is having their own subdivisions, isn't it? So like that we can. So another example easy to understand, in our school only we can consider. So different sections are there, standards are there. First standard, second standard, third standard up to 10th standard. These standards we can consider as a main class or base class or root class, isn't it? So below the each standard number of divisions are there, isn't it? First standard A section, first B, first C, first D, this like. So this sections is called as derived class or subclass. Each class is having number of students will be there. Student 1, student 2, student 3, like that number of students are there. This number of students we are considering as the further subdivision of the derived class. This concept is known as a inheritance. So the entire programming language we are using the inheritance concept, because inheritance concept is the one of the most powerful features of the object oriented programming language. So without that means by using the inheritance concept, the writing program will be make us easy. And so if the program will be easy to write, we are able to find out any mistakes will be there in between, it will be happening. Easily we can find out it and we can recover the error and we can find the solution there itself, isn't it? So that's why the classes concept we are using, and in that inheritance concept is most useful, isn't it? So I hope you can understand the class inheritance. It's a little difficult to catch up it, but 2-3 times if you hear the concept, we are able to understand the concept. Okay, if you are having any doubt, you can contact me. Further queries will be you can send through the WhatsApp or any my personal number. So have a good day. Thank you.